Hello, how are you? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another Technique Tuesday. This week we are doing Embossing Folders 102, and I'm going to show you guys some different techniques today on how to ink up your embossing folders, okay? So first off, we are going to use this turtle textures, and that goes with the Turtley Awesome stamp set. It's a whole suite, and that will be making its exit, because remember, we're getting the new catalog. So I'm going to try to show you guys things that are going to be going away so that we use our treasures before they're gone. So anyway, so here's the embossing folder that I used. Remember what I told you last week? You put in your sandwich, you make your plates and all your things, and it goes in fold first, okay? Always fold first so that you don't warp your embossing folders, okay? Okay, so anyway, so here's the Shy Shamrock ink, and we're just gonna take it and we're just gonna open it up here, and we're just gonna drag it, okay? I'm just gonna put it down, and I'm just gonna drag it just like that. And see, that gives you like a dark, rich, full color on your embossing folder, on your image there. Let me drag it a little bit more. So you can do less, you can do more. You could blot it if you wanted and kind of give it a checkered look. I mean, there's really no wrong way to add color to these embossing folders. What's really nice about that is if you don't have designer series paper, so say like the paper didn't suit your fancy, then you can kind of just make your own background paper, which is awesome. So see that? And then just let it dry. And now I'm going to show you a couple cards that I made when I did the dragging technique. So here's using the turtle stamp set, excuse me. And I just cut out a shape here. That's from our Arches dies right here. And then just put it there, and it says it's okay to take it slow. And then when you open it up, it says you're in my thoughts and prayers. And then since we don't throw any paper away, right guys? I just used a little strip here just to give it a little touch. And this is called a book fold. There's lots of ideas for this fold on Pinterest. There's lots of videos for that. I can make one if you guys want, but I do have a great idea for a fun fold for next week. So you have to tune in next week to find out what it is. So let me show you another card that I made. I need to adjust my seat. There we go. Okay, there we go. I don't know about you guys, but I'm so ready for it to be warm. My back has been hurting because it's so cold. Who's with me? Raise your hands. Okay, back to business. Okay, so anyway, so here's another card that I made using the sunflower embossing folder. This is a retired sunflower stamp set that we had a few years ago, and I didn't have any paper that had sunflowers. And so I just made my own paper and put the sunflowers on there. I know it's kind of a lot going on, but I still thought it was pretty. And this was a really easy, fun fold as well. And then let me show you another card that I did a light dragging, because both of those were really a heavy drag across the paper. This one here is a light dragging, and this is Crumb Cake ink right here. And I know this card probably looks familiar if you watched my baby wipe technique video, but I did just lightly drag the ink pad across the exposed brick, and it gave it that effect. So that was really fun. So now I'm going to show you another technique. Let me push those off camera here. For this next one, I used blending brushes. Okay, so let me bring in the ink and the blending brush. And I'm going to go ahead and emboss the inside of the card for you guys, because I didn't do that, and I wanted to show you a trick to add a little texture to the inside of your card instead of having to stamp. And all I did was I just ran the blending brush right over the paper. So let me grab the machine, get this out of the way. And then remember, I'm a stander, so I have to stand. Here's our plates, and here's the machine. All right, so now we're gonna use the Damask Designs. Let me open it up. Remember, it's kind of heavy. Hopefully it's on the camera here. There we go. Now you can get the full effect. So here's the platform. Now remember, we've got our standard plate, okay? And then for these thinner ones, we just have we have our sandwiches with our number 3, okay? So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the embossing folder, I'm gonna open it up, and I'm just gonna put the paper in just a stitch. Just like that, and we have to line it up. I have astigmatism, so it's always fun for me to try to line stuff up. All right, well that looks good, good enough. Oh wait, here we go. So then we're gonna turn this around, fold first, remember, fold first. So we've got our number 1 plate, one of our number 3s here. We're gonna put this fella here, we're gonna put him down, and then we're gonna bring in the other one, and we're just gonna roll it through. Make sure everything's on there nice and tidy. And it's not, here we go. All right, I'm gonna hold on to this for stability. Remember, we hold on to the top. All right, that means it's done. There's nothing to worry about when you hear that pop. Everything's fine, nothing's gonna explode. And then look, all it did was give me the edge, okay? Now we're gonna ink that. Let me just throw this out of the way. All right, let me get my chair, sit back down with y'all. Okay, so here's my paper. I'm gonna bring in the ink, and here's my blending brush. Just gonna open this up. Now we're just gonna ink this up just a stitch. Okay, we don't have to get a whole ton of ink on there unless you want a really heavy amount of ink. See, it's on the brush, see? Okay, so we're gonna start over here so that you don't get that stipple. You see that stipple right there? You can have that on your projects if you want, but in this case, I don't want it on my project. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, what happens if you go off the edge? All right, all you have to do is fold your paper over, just like this, or go get a piece of scratch paper, and you're just gonna put it right there at the edge. That way, if you go off the rails over here, see, we didn't get that white part. All right, let's do some more. Really, really easy. Just gives it a little touch of color. See, and I did get a stipple there, so you know what? We'll go over here and we'll just press a little bit harder, and we'll just get more ink. No big deal. No wrong way to do it. It's really up to you guys on how much ink you want or you don't want. All right, so now we're gonna stick it down. I have my glue. I forgot my handy dandy glue holder, but that's okay. Just real quick. And there we go. Make sure it's going the right direction. There we go, yep. Just gonna put it down. Voila. See, we've got this nice embossed part on the inside. So when someone opens up the card, not only is it beautiful on the outside, but it makes it beautiful on the inside. Okay, now I'm gonna show you guys another trick. So, say you want to do a slimline card. Okay, I'm gonna pull in the slimline card. I'm gonna show you guys how I did it. So you're saying to yourself, okay, the bark embossing folder is only 6 by 6, right? But this is big and long. Well, the nice thing is about this bark pattern is you can put your paper in and then flip it and then put the other side in. So I'm going to show you right now how to do that, okay? So I'm gonna put this aside, go and get the machine and bring him back in. And get this out of the way. I'm gonna open up the platform, and then I have to stand up because you guys remember I'm a stander. So here's our base plate, all right? And then here's our number 4. Now with these thick guys, remember, this big thick ones, these 3D embossing folders, we need the number 4 plate, okay? And it'll have the number on it, number 4. And I'm just gonna set it down, I'm gonna get up. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna put our paper in, just like so. Okay, and then we're gonna put it in fold first. Remember, fold first. Always, always, always fold first. All right, and we're gonna push it in there until we kind of feel it give. And then look at that, it just goes through like butter. Okay, that means it's done. Now, we're just gonna flip it. So you're gonna have a little crease here, but you'll be able to hide that. You can either hide that with your images, or we're gonna add some ink and we can hide it that way too, okay? I'm gonna push this back through. All right, remember, fold first. Sing it with me, people. Fold first. And they came down from heaven and they said, fold first. All right. Sorry. A million comedians out of work and you guys are spending 15 minutes with me. And I appreciate that. All right. So there we go. There we go. We have a nice, big, long piece for our slimline card that we're going to ink up, and it's going to be beautiful. Now, see this one, what I would have done differently if I'm going to make this card again is I would have drug it. This is really light, but I think dragging it would have given it like a darker feel. But I did want to show you guys that this is a pecan pie, I believe, ink, and it just gives it a little light tone, and it goes really well with the crumb cake paper. So, all right, so let's get this out of the way. We'll get down to business. I'm going to show you guys one more technique. It's called the blackout technique. There are tons of ideas for that all over the internet. But I'm going to show you my happy accident that I did have with that. I think I'm going to skip this so we can get to the happy accident part. So I've never done the blackout technique. And I thought what you had to do was that you had to ink up the embossing folder. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so you have your embossed part where all of this bumpy stuff is. And then you have your smoother part, right? See where the smooth is here? And then it's debossed. So embossed is the bumpy part and debossed is the smooth indentation part. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are gonna put our ink directly on the embossing folder, okay? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not like this because it is messy. And I know I keep saying, oh, don't be afraid to get messy, but I really didn't like my embossing folder getting messy. I wasn't digging on that. So now we're gonna put the paper in, just like so. I'm gonna close it up. I'm gonna show you what it did, and then I'm gonna show you what I did. Because, like I said, I'd never done this before, and I thought, okay, here we go. There's no wrong way or right way, except for you have to do fold first, always. Okay, that's the right way. If you don't do fold first, then it's the wrong way. All right, so we're just gonna run this through. Oh, we're getting a little cattywampus there. Oh, I forgot the platform. What a dork. Okay, sorry. I got distracted. I get so excited. And we're leaving that in there because A, I don't have an editing program, and B, that shows you that I am a real human being. Okay. So there we go, forgot the platform. Let me get that out of the way. Now let me show you how it turned out. Okay, I'm gonna open this up and see it gave it that weathered look, which is way cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's way cool. I do like it. But I'm gonna take a baby wipe and wipe that off real quick. So if I had a helper, I would have them do it, but I'm gonna get the majority of the ink off. And one thing I don't like too, guys, is it kind of stretches out your folder. And since they're plastic, I mean, I don't think this is gonna break, but you know, I'm just gonna say it. This just isn't my favorite. So what I did when I did this is I took it and I didn't like it. So I didn't like this. So I flipped it over because I'm cheap. And then I did the blackout technique. So the blackout technique is you take the image here and you just run it. Just run your ink down. Okay, and you're gonna fill in all these spots here, just like this. See that? All right, and then you go in and you color it. So you just grab your markers and you color it. So what I did is I colored mine. See, I colored that. But then on the back, the ink bled through and it gave me that. I mean, and that is so cool looking. So you could use either side of this if you want, because I had a happy accident. This is a happy accident. You could use either side. So let me show you a couple cards that I made. So this is the happy accident. This is doing it correctly, how it's supposed to be done with the blackout technique. And then here's my happy accident, right? So let me show you my happy accident card that I made, which is right here. Isn't that cool? It looks so pretty. Just added a couple little sparkly doodads. I had some scrap ribbon sitting in my ribbon spot, and I just pulled it out. And then there was a little strip left, and since we don't throw anything away, we just put it in the card. Okay, isn't that fun? And then, let me show you the other one that I made with the regular blackout technique. And for this one, I used a dark gray instead of black. So here's the black, and here's a dark gray. So you could use brown, red, purple, green, I mean, whatever color you want. I've seen people use blue because then it'll look like the sky. I mean, and that's why this sunflower embossing folder, if you guys don't have this, this is a cool tool. And I don't know if sunflowers are your jam, but this does make lots of different projects. So let me show you a couple more of my happy accident. So here's the front, and then here's the happy accident part. I mean, there's just so many possibilities. So, and then let me show you another card where I did ink up the embossing folder. I inked up the exposed brick, and I just ran it through, and it gave me this nice brick. So, versus the dragging technique. So, it is pretty. It is very nice. It does a good job. I just don't like the mess for cleanup, and that's probably why I don't like it very much. And I'm still standing. So I'm going to show you guys one more technique that I did. And then if you want to hang out with me, we can make the card now that I've pushed everything forward. And let me show you. You can also do, let me sit back down here. You can also do like a focal point. So with this card, I took the embossing folder. I positioned the paper where I wanted it to give me the focal point. And then I just made a little template, and then I inked it up with sponges and made this card. It's just a little note of thanks. And then on the inside, I just embossed the bottom here and then pulled in the same colors from the front, just to give it a little touch of color on the inside. So if you guys want to hang out, I will show you how to make that. If not, let me lay all these out. And you can take a look, and you can tell me which one you prefer. Now, give these all a try. And I'm sorry for being a chicken and not wanting to ink up my embossing folders, but it's just a technique that I don't enjoy. And everybody has their different things that they love to do and the different techniques that they love to try that they enjoy doing. And for me, that wasn't one of them. But there are plenty of other ways to ink up your embossing folders. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I will be back next week with another technique, Tuesday. Join me tomorrow. I am getting my pre-order from the catalog. I'm getting that tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Yes, on Wednesday. I'm getting my box on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I will do an unboxing video. So I'm so excited. I'm a little nervous today. I don't know why. I am comfortable getting these videos done, and I love hanging out with you guys. But some days I just get a little nervous. So I hope you're gonna stick around, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do the focal point. And if not, bye-bye. Okay. All right, are we ready for the focal point? So let's hope that the embossing folder is dry, because we're gonna put our paper in here. It's dry enough. I'll get it on my hand. Okay, so we're gonna take this white piece of paper here. Hopefully this is dry on the top. Yeah, it is. If not, I can use my shirt. All right, so we're gonna take the paper here, and I'm gonna put it down here where I want the focal point. It still has a little bit of black ink on it, but it should be fine because it'll be on the back. I don't see any to be on the front. All right, so I'm gonna put this down right here, and I'm gonna close it because I want my flower to be right in the front. It looks like there's a little bit of black over here. I'm gonna get that off. I'd rather have it on my hand than on the paper. Hopefully this will work. Okay, so now we're gonna bring back in the machine. Just reach over here and grab it. And I'm gonna remember the platform this time and not forget it, because I forgot it last time. And here we go. I'm gonna try to sit and do this. We'll see. There we go. Oh, I can sit and do this. I think this is the first time I've ever sat down and used the embossing machine. All right, hopefully there's no black. Oh, yay, there's no black. Okay, let me get this out of the way. I'm surprised my kittens aren't down here. I've been telling you guys I got kittens, right? So we went and we got them fixed, and I'm hoping they're gonna calm down. So I just cut myself a template. So all I did is I took out the template here, and I'm just gonna put this in the center here. And it still does have a little bit of black on it. Oh, it'll be fine. I think it'll add to it. Okay, so let me show you the fancy way to stick this down. Sticky notes from the Dollar Tree, okay? So just gonna put some sticky notes here, and it's just gonna hold our mask on the top so that we have our focal point. Just like that, okay? I'm gonna bring in our ink. So today we're gonna use Pretty in Pink, Gorgeous Grape, and Blueberry Bushel. Pretty in Pink is just like that Shy Shamrock. It's gonna be going bye-bye, so we have to kiss it goodbye, but we're gonna make some things with it before it goes. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take out all my pieces here out of my little bag. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna take the sponge. I'm gonna do this over here, and I'm just gonna do a little swoop over here so that I don't have that spongy mark unless you want it, and then circles. Oops, my paper just moved. All right, I guess I didn't stick my stickies down good enough here. There we go. I'm probably pressing too hard. Oops, I'm stuck on my hand. All right, here we go. Let's try this again. All right, I'm gonna hold on to it a little bit tighter. All in circles, just some circles. Happy little circles, right? Like happy little accidents, happy little circles. Okay, I'm gonna come in with the purple. This purple is pretty dense, so I'm gonna make sure I don't get a whole lot on there. And we're just gonna circle, circle. And then remember, you guys, you can go back in and you can blend the color. It looks like I got a little bit of blue on there. Must have been from when I was making the sample. I felt so bad right before I was gonna do my video. My daughter calls. I'm like, honey, I gotta go. I'm doing my video for my people on YouTube. And my daughter's like, okay, call me back. I said, okay. Half the time I forget to call her back. She's so gracious with her mom. All right, so then I'm gonna do the blue. And I actually started at the bottom, but it doesn't matter. We'll just flip it around. Just gonna add the blue. Now, excuse my fingers, gotta hold on to it. There we go. All right, so then hopefully when we pull this off, I'm gonna add a little bit more purple to kind of blend it in here. And you can go as heavy or as light as you want, but I like how that purple is right across the center of the sunflower. What do you guys think? Pretty fun. Pretty fun stuff. Okay, so now let me close up this mess and get it out of the way so that we don't make a bigger mess. And if, when in doubt, we could just drag the ink pad across there and just cover it up, right? All right, so I'm gonna pull this off. See, there you go. Gives you a nice focal point. Isn't that pretty? I love that. All right, so we're just gonna glue it down. Where's my glue? There it is. Let me get this all out of the way. I'm such a messy crafter. My craft room is a disaster. Ooh, I gotta stay out of that black. Okay, some glue. It's funny, I always, when the glues are almost empty that I use for class, I put them in my craft room. So I rarely have a full glue, but I went into my room and I grabbed one of the ones for my classroom. So this one's nice and full. So that's a treat for me. I usually take all the leftovers. So, and hopefully I brought dimensionals. Okay, there they are. Okay, so now we're just gonna stick this down. Remember, your glue is a little bit more forgiving. I'm just gonna press. Glue gives you a chance to pick things up and move things around versus using tape. And it does look like there's a little bit of black. It might be on my hands. That's transferring to that. Oh, bummer. But you guys get the point. Okay, so let's do this. gives it a shadow effect, right? There's usually no wrong way. We can always fix it. Like that guy said, there's always happy little accidents. All right. Oops. Oh yeah, we do want the pink on the top. Okay, here we go. Just like so. All right. Sometimes what I do too, guys, is I just open up the card and I press it on this side. That way you're really applying that pressure to where the glue is. You can even take your bone folder and just rub it like that. All right, then the inside. So there's probably quite a bit of ink still left on these, so we're just gonna go for it. Yeah. Purple next. Oh, and I didn't put my paper down. So I got some over the edge. Living over the edge. That's how we're rolling. All right. There we go. A little bit more purple. Don't think I need to really pick up any more color. I think that's plenty. All right, so we're just gonna glue that down on the inside. Then I'm gonna show you guys how to do your ribbon. I didn't bring any tape in here. Oh well, that's okay. I'm gonna show you how to do it anyway. All right, so we're just gonna put that down. And all that we have left now is our greeting and the doodads. So I hope you guys will give this a try. Pretty fun stuff. Let me bring in my dimensionals here. Okay, so everyone's like, well, how do you get your ribbon like that? So we're gonna hold the ribbon here in my hand, just like that. We're gonna take it and we're just gonna kind of loop. All right, but what I'm gonna do now, because I forgot glue, usually what I do is I put a strip of glue there. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna grab these dimensionals and I'm gonna stick that ribbon down before I make the next loop to loop, okay? See that? So that's gonna hold that there for me so I can make the next loop. So I'm gonna hold on to that and then I'm gonna bring it back for one more loop to loop. Okay, and then I'm gonna flip it back over. I'm gonna put that dimensional down to hold that ribbon. Okay, so there's my ribbon and I've got one loose spot here in the center. So I'm gonna add another dimensional, okay? If you have to add more, don't worry about it, no big deal. So we got 3 on there, that should be more than enough, okay? Actually, I'm gonna add one there on the corner. Okay, so see how we get our little loop-de-loop? Really easy. I know for a long time I was like, oh, how did they do that? But then you just gotta kind of mess around with it and play with it. So we're gonna stick another one on there. So that's 4. And then we're just gonna cut here. And you wanna make sure your scissors are a little bit sharper so that you get that nice edge of the ribbon, okay? Just like that. Oh, I didn't cut it quite at the edging. There we go. All right, let's get that out of the way. We're gonna put this down and we're done. We made a focal point with the embossing folder, okay? That way you can mass produce some cards and you can do all kinds of greetings with this. This would make a really pretty sympathy card, to be honest. And that one says happiest birthday wishes. And then I have these frosted iridescent dots. I have a ton of these. I don't know why, I must have bought like 2 packages. So I took the clear dots and we're just gonna place them, where's my thing? My pokey, I call it. And make sure, one thing with these pokers, if you have this old kind, a toothbrush holder, 99 cents at Walmart, 89 cents, and put this in a toothbrush holder. That way when you put it on your shelf, you don't hurt yourself. So that's one thing to keep you safe so that you don't poke yourself with your pokey. All right, guys. We're done. That concludes our Technique Tuesday. Thanks for hanging around, for making the card, and please like and share my videos. And I really appreciate you guys coming to play with me. So I'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.